Shalom. One of the most important distinctions in the thought of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov is the distinction between Yirida and Nefila. According to Rabbi Nachman, Yirida, a spiritual descent, a situation where things are not nearly as good, nearly as positive as they used to be. We feel distant from Hashem, we feel far away from maximizing our potentials. That's part of Avodas Hashem. There's no such thing as a human being, no such thing as an Eved Hashem who doesn't have Yiridot, who doesn't have a situation where he has a rough spot, a rough patch, a slump. That's part of Avodas Hashem. However, a Nefila is a situation of free fall, a situation where it's not just a temporary descent on the way to a much better upswing. Rather, Nefila is a situation where you feel like I've lost it. It's gone. It's over. There's no turning back. I've gone too far. I'm past the limit. Nefila, another word for Nefila would be Yeush, would be despair. Would be a situation where you've thrown in the towel. I've gone too far. I've lost my touch for it, and I can't be Oved Hashem anymore. Rabbi Nachman says that Yirida should be embraced. Yirida is an essential part of the life of any Eved Hashem. We have to recognize that we have downswings, we have times when things are harder. Nefila is a thing to avoid. In Parshat V'eschana, Moshe Rabbeinu describes a rather depressing future for Am Yisrael once they enter Eretz Yisrael. He says, I know that you are going to mess up. Things are going to go badly for you. Not just physically, but spiritually. You're going to betray God. You're going to be exiled. You're going to leave Eretz Yisrael. You're going to lose everything that Hashem promised you. And when you're in these faraway lands you're exiled to, whether it's the Soviet Union, whether it's Zimbabwe, wherever you end up, you're going to begin worshiping Avodah Zarah. You're going to commit adultery. You're going to betray your relationship to Hashem. You can't get worse than that, can you? You can't be further away from your potential. You can't be further away from your connection to Hashem in a situation where, number one, you're not in Eretz Yisrael anymore. You totally blew it to the point that God had to kick you out. Once you were in Chutz La'aretz, you began worshiping other gods. That's the end, right? That's the end of the line. However, Moshe Rabbeinu says as follows. Says that once you're in that situation, once you're in a situation where you're worshiping Avodah Zarah, in Chutz La'aretz, in exile, uvikashtem misham et Hashem Elokecha umatzata. And there, in the cesspool of your spiritual degradation, in a situation where you seem to have lost everything, uvikashtem misham. You will seek out God from there. And that key word, misham, says it all. We're not talking about a person who totally changes his lifestyle and then seeks out God. We're not talking about a person who comes back to Eretz Yisrael and then seeks out God. We're not talking about a person who throws away his Avodah Zarah and then seeks out God. That from that low spiritual place, you'll seek out God and you'll find it. Rabbi Nachman points out that this concept right here, misham, that you can connect to Hashem no matter how far away you feel from Him, no matter what kinds of things you've done to distance yourself from Him, is perhaps the most essential belief in Judaism. He points out that if we truly believe that Hashem is infinite, that leit atar panui minei, that there is no realm of the universe that is devoid of God's presence, and the idea that a person is too far away from God to be able to reach out to Him is absurd. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a spiritual place or a physical place where God cannot be accessed. Which means that no matter how far a person has fallen, no matter how horrific the acts, the behaviors, the choices of a person are, Hashem is still right there. Hashem is still totally accessible. Vikashtem misham, that from that place of falling, from that place of Yiridah, you can reach out, and Hashem is right there with you, waiting for you to reach out, waiting for you to seek Him out. When you do, He's totally accessible. That when we have Yeridah, to realize this is not a failure, this is not a cause for Yehush, for despair. This is part of the ride. Part of the ride is the glorious, enjoyable upswings. Part of the ride is the down times, the times that we feel more distant, the times we don't feel the energy that we used to feel. And realize that the Yeridah is L'tzorech Aliyah. The Yeridah is a way of regaining momentum, is a way of building up to return to Hashem. And to realize that when we're ready, when we reach out for Kadosh Baruch Hu, no matter what we've done, no matter what choices we've made, Hashem is always right there waiting for us. It's an amazing Shabbos. Look forward to speaking to you next week.